Says I'm live. There we go. Okay, yes, it's actually live. I'm just sitting here, not doing a damn thing yet. Hello, you couple people. I'll wait for a couple more. God, it's so quiet. We're gonna ask Uncle Birch. Huh?
So you were talking about putting that entire thing that goes all the way up?
Yeah.
Oh, I was just thinking of those low ones. That's why I'm like, why do you have to call tree people?
Yeah, no, I think we need to get rid of
Oh,
that
that
old tree.
whole thing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I get it.
Yeah.
Like, great, great. I was just looking at that bush.
Yeah. Well, it might be cray cray, but I'm also live.
I know.
Okay.
I'm not saying you need to be premature.
Oh, you like the backdrop, huh? Here's our new yard. Uh, the big secret's out. Everyone else knows, except for people on YouTube, we moved to New Orleans. So we were off the air for a few. Our podcast, Wittershins, going to make its momentous return
Indeed.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
Going to be Wednesdays now.
Same time.
Same time, 5 p.m. Pacific, which I think is now our 7 p.m.
Yeah.
Um,
So it'll be
but
new
yeah.
time for us,
hmm
but same for the listeners.
So yeah, all y'all that um, familiar with my channel, you know my epic housing spell. Well, we took it to a whole nother level for this one here, and it was a triple lodestone spell. I kept one in my pocket, planted one at the house, and the third one was made in an offering to the Mississippi River to accept us to the town. And apparently, it worked out. I'm not going to go in give you the whole spell because the other one works fine. But yeah, we we sold the penthouse in Hollywood and bought a place in New Orleans, and it is amazing how much house you can get for way less than
It's like the most half.
for like half of a Hollywood penthouse. Um, and as you can hear, it's quiet. We don't have the freeway right by us. I feel like I'm speaking in such hushed tones right now because we used to just, we used to being loud.
Yep.
Used to being loud. You know, we got neighbors, but I'm pretty open with what I do for a living. This that kind of town. It became pretty obvious. For folks like us and a guy that does what I do for a living. It was New Orleans or Salem, and I don't go to Salem. I don't like the Midwest vibe, or not. It's not even Midwest.
It's the east,
The
East Coast.
East Coast vibe, and I don't like the cold. So yeah, so New Orleans, it's a place we ought to be. So here we are, whole new year, this 2020.
Love it, love it.
Yep, and we got some other secret projects coming up. I'll probably be talking about that in about a week or so, but not going to tell you yet because it's to know, to will, to dare, and to remain silent. That's how we get shit done. Like the third key of magic, man. You let it go. You don't talk about the shit. You gotta make it happen. Hello, everybody that's saying hello. If you're just joining us, Uncle Birch and family moved to New Orleans. This is our backyard. Um, where I'll probably be broadcasting live from back here. I don't know. Maybe I'll do it from the house too. We're gonna have like a broadcast room.
Bamboo would be nice.
Yeah, yeah. Be different backdrops. As you can see, that I chose the tropical backdrop here to make it clear that we are not in Hollywood anymore. So I got a new class coming up, starting March 1st, the Year in a Day course. Got 4 classes running, and when the current March 1st finishes, the next March 1st. So if you want to get into witch school and you've been waiting for your opportunity, now's a good time to do it because um, this will be the last witch school at the current price. The price will be going up next time I do it. So the witch school Year in a Day course is a year and a day long. It's a subscription-based thing. You're automatically billed every month, um, and it's 35 a month. And next time I do it, it's going to be going up to 40 a month because I haven't raised my prices in like 10 years or something. So yeah, you gotta stay current. Um, but there's two ways you can get in that. You can wait till March 1st, and when the class will appear at gumroad.com/witchschool, which is, of course, WITCHSKEWL. Or if you, I mean, there you're going to take your chances. It's going to open March 1st, and when the class fills up, there are no more slots. But if you contact me ahead of time at witchschool@gmail.com, WITCHSKEWL at gmail.com, I can secure an unlimited amount of spots. So you'll definitely get your spot reserved if you contact me ahead of time. But I do this little thing because in case you don't know, I teach witchcraft for a living. That's my job, and that's definitely the reason why I got to be in New Orleans. And I already picked up some work here. I'm going to be teaching in person. Um, uh, Probably a couple places, but I'm going to be teaching at Hex pretty soon, and I will be presenting at Hex Fest this summer, August. I think it's the 9th this year. I'll start plugging that soon. Um, so I'm going to be doing a whole lot more of what I do. So being that I teach witchcraft for a living and I have all these classes going on at the same time, I do this little thing. I pop up here and there on different Facebook pages and here on my channel. Uh, I'm in Facebook jail right now for another 6 days because apparently you can't call the president commie Nazi scumbag, which he absolutely is. But apparently that violates community standards. So I won't be going live on any Facebook pages for a few days, but they can't get me over here on my channel. So I do this little thing to keep my teaching muscles strong. I expose myself to the entire witchcraft world and allow everybody to ask me any random question about magic that they have. Keeps my teaching muscles strong, and I also do this as a community service because there's so many people teaching so much bullshit out on the internet, and there's so many the new band of witches that don't want to actually study. Well, they're not going to be in my class anyways. But we get the ones that say all that matters is intent and do whatever feels right. That school of witchcraft, which is the absolute laziest bunch of fucking witches. They want to do nothing. They want to know nothing, but they want to call themselves witches and don the pointy hats. Um, Back in the day, we'd at least study a year and a day before doing that kind of shit and study. So I have these year and a day courses going on. I also have downloadable courses for the people that don't want to take a whole year and a day but still want to study or binge watch the classes that are very similar to this. Uncle Birch sitting there with you talking about witchcraft all the time. It's just like this, pretty much, is class. So we play this little game. It's called Ask Uncle Birch. You can ask me almost anything you want. I'll probably have something to say. And some stuff I just won't answer. And I'll make you search for the answer. Um, Only a couple rules. Try not to ask me a question when I'm answering a question. And try not to be too long-winded in your question, or I will miss your portions of your question.
I lost Wi-Fi.
Lost Wi-Fi.
It's not finding my water Birch.
Huh.
Do you still have it?
I'm still live, so
Okay.
it must
There
be
it
the
is.
Wi-Fi.
Okay.
Hmm.
Incorrect password. It didn't ask me.
That's weird. Okay. Anyway, wife's having technical difficulties over there. So you got a question? Magic, witchcraft. I've even done ceremonial magic. I've even had people ask me questions about voodoo and Santeria, which I am not a practitioner of, but I answered pretty well, I must say, on those things. So almost anything: hoodoo, conjure, folk magic, whatever you got. You got a question? Let's see if I got an answer. So let the good times roll. Breaking news is popping up on my screen. Prince Harry and Meghan are no longer going to be royals.
That's not
Or-
breaking.
Well, I mean, it's official now.
Oh.
They've been hemming and hawing about it. Now it's breaking. Anyway, it's so quiet.
So does that mean they don't get security anymore in Alaska?
Yeah, I'm not sure what that means.
So if somebody kidnaps them and holds them for ransom, means gonna be like, they're not royalty.
Do you keep magical journals or a book of shadows? Yes, I do. And there's always great confusion, so I'll just go ahead and answer the question that you haven't really asked yet. Grimoire and a book of shadows are two different things. A grimoire is where I always teach my kids to keep notes. Keep notes of every spell that you do, and write it down at the end of a spell. Every detail that went into it, every prop, the phase of the moon, everything. Time of day when you did the spell, and then once we're done, we slam the book in our face and we tell ourselves we're not going to look at that spell again for 3 moons, and then we look at it, and eventually we get some spells that typically work. They have a good success rate. That's a spell that goes in your grimoire. You do your own experimentation with the spells. Don't just write a bunch of spells in your grimoire, because the stuff works different for different people. So you find what spells are working right for you, and you put that in your grimoire. Now, Book of Shadows, it comes up a lot in Wicca. Oh, there's the cat. Hey, cat, prowling around. Book of Shadows was really supposed to be all of the elements of the specific tradition that you're in, down to the rituals they perform, the way they cast circle. Does your tradition have legends? Do they have lore? These kind of things. Book of Shadows. Book of Shadows was said to be the one book that you would grab if a mob was coming and you had to flee for your life. You grab your Book of Shadows so you can redo your tradition wherever you go. So let's see. Traditionally, a Book of Shadows was a black book with silver writing. Those were the colors of the craft. Silver representing the moon. That's why so many of our things are silver. I don't like gold much at all, really. I mean, when I've had gold, I think I got what's my wedding ring? Is it platinum or something?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it looks silver, but it's not. But I like the look of silver, so ain't into gold that much. Now, a gold book would be more of a solar thing, or gold writing on the book would be representing the sun, so that might make more sense for like a ceremonial magician or something like that, but then they're not really going to be writing a Book of Shadows. The other thing, the reason it's called a Book of Shadows, our ancestors, they really like to remember all of the dark times that our people have gone through and that kind of thing. And they were witchcraft. Witchcraft was once an oral practice. It was passed down between families and that kind of thing. And the Book of Shadows comes about when people start thinking that they're the last witches alive. The witches not in contact with each other, and the belief that they needed to write these things down. Prior to that, nobody wrote these things down. So the Book of Shadows is to remind us that it was during a dark period when these things came about, when there really was a fear that these things could be lost forever, and everybody had to write it down. But seemingly dark, what I've noted, I'm involved in many different magical paths, and some of them are still attempting to be oral traditions, and as such, they're all obscured. There's different versions of them. There's no consistency in the different versions of those systems, and some of those systems are trying to be very staunch about control of their system. But if you haven't written anything down, it's like the game of telephone. Every time you pass a word down the line, it changes. It changes. Changes. Um, yeah. Let's see. Do I have a spell to find a job? Usually, brown candles are done for that. Green candles are done for that. Um, um, Candle magic's probably where you're going to start out, but I would make a sigil. Go back on my channel way back about 10 years or so, and I've got how to make a sigil. So sigil for this kind of thing would probably be the type of job you want, all the parameters that you have to have written down, and then the language from that made into a sigil. Sigil either carved on the candle, or quite often on a piece of paper underneath the candle. Just be careful when the flame gets down there. Have it in a some sort of fireproof tray or something like that, because paper is going to catch on fire, and the paper will have wax on it, which will make it catch on fire pretty well. Then I'd want to team up such a spell with a High John the Conqueror root, anointed or dressed with Crown of Success oil. That would be great for a job spell. Then, so we while we're doing the candle spell, we're putting energy into the root, telling the root what we want it to do. Might have the root sitting right next to the candle or on an altar or something like that. And then once the candle is the candle spell is done, then the root becomes your little lucky charm. You're going to carry that around in your left pocket, or if you don't have pockets, okay. Women will often tuck it in their bra, and that's an excellent spot for it, because it's right by the heart chakra. There's a whole lot of energy right there, and it's right in the center of mass. So you're getting a lot of your energy on that. So let's see. Somebody else. Do you have to make a statement of intent before every spell, and how? Yes, I would say so. I have a whole video on the statement of intent. You should probably watch that. Um, it's kind of got some witch history in that particular video, the statement of intent video here on this channel. Where was it going to go? But the basics. Statement of intent should be very specifically outline what you want to occur, and binding down the action not wanted. So, like for like the Wiccans would say, and it harm none. They'll put that on there. So that's like the binding down of the action not wanted. For them is the harm none. However, problem with that, proper statement of intent should have no negatives. So no, not, neither, nor, or none. And the belief is that the magical mind doesn't recognize negatives, so it just deletes them from the sentence. So when a Wiccan's saying, and it harm none, the magical mind hears, and it harm. Get it? So Wiccans...
Like how you say innocent instead of not guilty.
Yeah, like how you say innocent instead of not guilty. Headlineese. Yeah. So that's some of the basics. No negatives. But then rhyming verse is really good if you can pull that kind of thing off. And I often tell people it's Dr. Seuss. Huh? Did he eat the banana? I just put a banana in front of him like a minute ago.
Did you eat the banana? Oh, you forgot he had it.
Oh, yeah. It was probably right behind his iPad.
Yep.
Punk. Okay. Let's see. Would without causing harm. No, because I think. Oh, thanks for taking a crap downwind, dog. Or upwind. Downwind? Downwind. No, I think without is a negative. free from harm, free from causing harm. That's a positive way of saying that. But I think without, that's still a negative. So, yeah. So no, not neither nor, none, or without. Okay. Um, but Dr. Seuss had the perfect formula for this kind of thing. The verse that he used, but very specific statement of intent. Let's see, did I miss anything? So how can I make a statement? Just put harm with harm to name the target with harm to that person. So yeah, that wasn't hard at all. Come on, kids. Let's see. How do you protect yourself against Christian trying to curse you? My current situation. Dear. Christians cursing. I just heard these Christians protesting. I think it's Matt Aron's speech or some witch festival somewhere, and they're doing a binding spell, binding them with the blood of Christ. So yeah, got Christians out there doing spells now. Okay. Anyway, I've got protection spells here on this channel, but I would go more with the transformation angle. So you want to look at psychic self-defense shields up. That's the video you want to watch there. All right, hold on. I'm gonna capture the cat for a second. Hold on. Isn't the sky lovely? Okay, yeah, sorry about that. The cat walked out and went under the house. And he's still new to the neighborhood, and he doesn't have a collar, and he was an indoor cat for years, so I had to take that opportunity to grab him and toss him in. Hello, Emerald City Mystic. I'm in Facebook jail for another few days, so you won't see me on there. Unfortunately, I have the triumphant return of Widdershins coming this Wednesday. We're gonna have live in-house guests. We're supposed to be having Christian Day and Hoodoo Semois over here at the house. So that would be the second time we've ever had live guests, and we'll probably be doing a lot of that here because there's a lot in the pond. Let's say. Let's see. I want to make sure I got everybody's question. Not worried. Yeah. Watch the Psychic Self-Defense Shields Up video. It's teach you how to do one of the basic transformations, or if you got the money to spend, you go over there to gumroad.com/WitchSkewl, WitchSkewl, and there you want to watch Feeding on Your Enemies. It's the transformation spell on steroids. It's the large version of the transformation spell. The idea is, when you have enemies that are actually attacking you, you take their energy and convert it to fuel, and then you're not even really worried about protecting anymore. you kind of want to piss people off. You want people to throw at you and that kind of thing. There you go. Trying to figure out place to prop my camera. As you can see, I'm sitting on lawn furniture. We're still waiting for the movers. Probably might be another week before we get furniture and stuff. Your program of science and magic is great. Whoops, God damn it. It's great. I incorporated that to water magic. Programming water with hertz. Ooh. That's brilliant. I love that. I totally understand what you're saying there. That's a good idea. Got to get innovative. Take these techniques that you're learning and spin them into other techniques. And then you've got your own techniques that way. So, we've been doing this Ask Uncle Birch. If you're just joining us, I'm on this teaching frenzy, and I have another year in a day course coming up March 1st. Uh, if you want to get involved in that, you can either wait till March 1st when it appears at gumroad.com/witchschool, which is, of course, WITCHSKEWL. Or if you definitely want to secure a spot in the class, you contact me at witchschool@gmail.com. WITCHSKEWL@gmail.com. And I already have a bunch of people in there. I haven't answered several of the emails because I've been busy moving across the damn country. we, hopefully you can hear that. I love the sound of the ships on the Mississippi. It's kind of right over there. Um, it's excellent, excellent, excellent. Somebody asked me earlier. I don't think it was on this channel, but we worried about flooding. No, no, no. We did our research. We got a lot of friends here. They taught us how to read the flood map and to start our searching based on the flood map. So we're in a high plateau. We're a place that has never flooded. Houses, a couple hundred years old, never flooded. It's good shape. Let's see. I have a sprig of rosemary next to my computer to help sharper thinking. Absolutely. Well, you're one of my students, so I expect that kind of thing. Yes, rosemary for remembrance. It's great. It's great for protection. Removing, you can even removing hexes, but it's power on the memory. Just smelling it. Science has even proven relatively recently that smelling rosemary increases your memory by 75%. They even got numbers. So, yeah, rosemary by a computer. Will your new classes be the same as the ones I'm currently receiving, or they have new content? No, that's the year in a day course that's going on right now is the year in a day course, and it'll be the same course for probably a couple of years before I decide to do something else. But then the downloadable ones, I have my old year in a day courses available for download, and those you can binge watch them. And I think I even got it split up where you can like buy half the class, then buy other half of the class, and then I think I've got bundles with the advanced class and the beginning class all together, bundled at a reduced price. A lot of options, but no, the year in a day course it's the same course. After finishing that course, well, then I'll have other courses. So probably a little after March. I'll probably wait until I have like 2 of those classes finished. So probably in the spring or the summer, I'll be announcing the advanced class, or the second level classes, and that'll be about a year's worth of classes too. And those will be totally different than the year in a day witch school. Marta, she better be taking a shower. She's been talking about for all day. She got to wash her hair. So she was here at the beginning of the broadcast. I have a cheering section. Yes, there's of lots of new birds and animals and foliage. We got this oleander tree that I just learned about. Poisonous to dogs and kids and stuff when it blooms. So I hate to have to do it, but that's I'm not, just kind of looking at it right now. That's gonna be a dead tree. I'm gonna have to get somebody to come cut the fucking thing down. You can't have a poisonous tree in the fucking backyard. Right? And I don't know if cats are okay with it too, but then there's the cat too. So oleander, poisonous. Who knew it? I've never seen an oleander. I didn't know. And then there's several of the trees here. I don't know what they are yet. I've got a bayonetta, which apparently is one of the trees in Palo. not my Paulo. I have a different one, a different stick. But hey, Birch, can you give a road opener oil recipe? Wait, oh wait, without the road opener herb. No. Um, you could use a Jupiter oil for removing obstacles. There's lots of other things, but road opener means road opener. Road opener, you need Aubrey Camino, which I'll be growing soon. I tried to grow it in LA a couple times, didn't work out, but this is the climate where it grows, so I'll be growing that. But yeah, you gotta have Aubrey Camino for road opener, or call it something else. Call it, removing blockages, but road opener is a specific. Okay, am I back? Jesus Christ! Can I shoot equal parts of musk, civet, and ambergris, which is probably synthetic unless you're rich and want to go to jail. Those are most of those are illegal and really expensive things. But equal parts of those things was an oil that I was taught as a kid called "Fuck Me Now" oil. My triple X oil is of course a variation, but the ingredients are a little bit different than that. All right. Okay. It's very pricey. Very pricey. I was thinking how fortunate you are to be able to choose where you want to live in such a vast country. Um, yeah, I think that too. Um, I've been telling people this for a long time, and it just becomes more and more true as time goes on. This was uh, one of my ultimate goals, was to reach a stage where I made my living on the internet. 'Cause I always hear the stories, back when we were in Santa Cruz, bunch of people run off to Texas. They're going, yeah, we're going to go to Texas for $800 a month. We've got a 16-bedroom fucking house on a 2 acres of land and all that shit. And then you see those guys back in Santa Cruz about a year later, begging for money on the streets. Like, shit, hey, how'd Texas work out? Well, I went to need jobs. Okay, that's the way it works. If the rent's cheap, the jobs are scarce. If it's not cheap, jobs are plentiful. Tends to work out that way. You are all, every one of us, locked into a cost of living scenario that's designed for failure. It's designed to keep us struggling forever. And back when I had the brick and mortar shop, I didn't really look at the math that often. It was not my, I needed to make a living doing it, but it was not something, I was not the math person when we started that shop. Eventually, everything became, uh, everything became my job. But I did the math one day, and I realized that for the last 3 years, I've been making my living more off of the internet, teaching witchcraft in my online shop, and I was taking that money to keep the brick and mortar afloat. And that's a terrible business model. So as soon as I realized that, I had reached the ultimate goal, and that at that point, that was always the plan. Could go wherever we wanted. I don't know why. I don't know how we went to Grass Valley, but we did. We lived in Grass Valley, then we lived in Hollywood, and now New Orleans. Hollywood, we had some family business we had to take care of there, and we were done with it. And I'd had enough of Hollywood, anyways. We had this really expensive Hollywood penthouse, and out our huge window where we, see the Capitol Records building and all that, but then down just below it, the part that I didn't show on film most of the time was the tents. The tents. There's homeless people everywhere. There's no Skid Row in LA anymore. They're in the nice neighborhoods, and it was just, it's depressing. There's a constantly seeing that out your window and driving through the tent cities, it's just weighs on you after a while. Um, so New Orleans brought us here. New Orleans definitely wanted us here, and I say, we say, I say, magic follows the path of least resistance. This particular thing, even selling a place on one side of the country while buying a place on the other side of the country, you're taking the money from this to pay for that, and then moving across the country, it just took off. It just went. As soon as we made our statement of intent, this shit just started happening. Even moving to Hollywood was an uphill battle. This no battle. It's just as soon as we decided, it's like the universe said, "Yeah, oh, yep, New Orleans, New Orleans." And here, I openly tell people what I do for a living all the time when I meet them. And you meet a lot of people. There's a Southern hospitality thing, and it's real. I mean, neighbor right over here baked us a cake when we moved in. I didn't think things like that actually existed. Where am I going with all this? Oh yeah, so yeah, I'll just tell people, even like when we were visiting, like when we came here to do the recon and find the house, we were taking lifts everywhere, and even though lift drivers just say, "Oh my God, this is the perfect place for you." Everybody said, "Oh, this is a perfect place for you." Back in Hollywood, there's a lot of freaks, and I would just tell people I was a teacher, and hope they didn't ask what the subject was, because the room would just kind of get silent. It's like nobody really, oh shit, sorry I went there. I don't want to talk about that. But here, man, everybody's excited about it. And a whole lot of work for a guy like me. I'm only going to be on here for a few more. I wanted to get out here and go live because I haven't in so long. I've just been kind of MIA. I'm taking care of this stuff. And then it took several days to get the Wi-Fi. So I'm just catching up. My students are finally getting their classes for the month. I was a bit behind on that too. Any money dressing oil recipe you can teach us? Yeah, mint, basil, Irish moss, um, and what's the galangal? Could go galangal. Could go cinnamon. The galangals. Usually, I'm putting a root of galangal in the oil. Galangal is a heater. It's related to ginger. It's in the ginger family. So an oil like that, I want to have at least one heating element. Cinnamon could suffice for that. But there's a good little one. Anise always also good for money. I've kind of changed it up a few times from my old recipes, but what we got? Basil, anise, God damn it, Irish moss, mint. Now, something that I will say about that. When it comes to recipes and this kind of stuff, there's the odd even rule. Even numbers are receptive, odd numbers are active. Now, there could be a reason for either in a money spell. Typically, you're going to want it to be receptive because you're bringing the money in, but it could be that you need to stimulate action out there in the world, and that we want active. So the number of ingredients decides whether it's active or receptive. Okay, so odds are active, evens are receptive. Okay. Let's see, citizen synchronicity. Why do we sometimes cross paths with famous people or important people from our past in strange, inexplainable ways? Is there deeper meaning behind these things? Quite often there is, but those things are all very variable. When we moved to LA, my wife found her first grade teacher on Facebook, which that I thought was a small world moment right there. But then my son ended up going to the same school where my wife went to first grade. And one night, um, her Marta's old teacher was out for her birthday and posted a picture with my kid's current first grade teacher. Turns out they're friends and they hang out. So small world moment. Not famous people, but it just happens. I don't know. And so there's usually something significant to it, but each one of those scenarios you just talked to, they're variable. Um, sometimes it's not a whole lot of meaning, and sometimes it is. Yeah, so kind of hard to answer in great detail. See, sounds great over here. When I welcome neighbors in the same manner, they freak out and avoid you. Time to move. Yeah, now everybody here, everybody says hi. Everybody introduces themselves. This Southern hospitality thing. When we were on our secret mission here, we came during Thanksgiving, and my wife has a friend here from college, and now my kid and his kid are fucking best friends, and they took us to two different total strangers' houses for their Thanksgivings, and they were so open and welcoming and friendly and nice. And the second one we went to, those people invited us back every year. They didn't even know us. Hey, Uncle Birch and Aunt Marta. Hey, Kevin. Yep, just just about to get out of here. How old were you when you were initiated? I guess I would have been 14. So I started at 13. Um, yeah, I officially started at 13. Jumped right into it. Would have been a year and a day course, so probably 14. But now I don't recommend this to anybody else. But special. I've apparently had a knack for teaching witchcraft. Always, and didn't know it because I didn't know witchcraft. But as soon as I was taking I guess my Wicca 101 course, I was teaching my friends witchcraft a week behind the class. And I got caught, and it was against the rules. And they called me before this council. They had a council. And I said, I'm not allowed to teach yet. I said, well, I am teaching, and I'm good at it. And, maybe you should talk to my students and see how they're doing. You say I can't teach. Well, I disagree. And so they did. They pulled my students. They had them go in this secret meeting. I waited outside. They called me in afterwards, and they scheduled my initiation. They didn't rush it. Started in my year and a day, but they scheduled it and set me in the student teachers program. So while doing my year and a day studies, I was assisting a teacher in another class. And they scheduled my first degree initiation, then second degree in my parent tradition is teacher, so they scheduled that. So I had my first two initiations pre-scheduled, and they put me in programs to teach me how to teach, or teach me how to teach better, that kind of thing. All right. Anyway, y'all, I gotta go do some stuff. Just wanted to get on here live, and from the new scenery here in New Orleans, to be a whole different world. That was one of my hush hush secret projects that I wasn't talking about. That got so many people starting all kinds of rumors about what was going on with Birch. There's even some people saying Birch and Marta are getting divorced and shit. It was amazing some of the rumors that some of you kids start out there, man. Uh, all the best to you, Birch and Marta. Thank you, Leela. Thank you, Lady Witch. Sending blessings. We'll be back, and I'll be talking more about the class, and got another secret project. See, this is operational witchcraft. This is how you get shit done. You don't talk about it. Mom always said, when you have a frenemy, that you act friendly, but they're really your enemy. Um, and you're talking to them, acting like you get along. Said, find out what their goals are and get them to talk at great length about their goals and sound really interested. And when they're done, get them to talk about it some more. The idea was that you waste that energy in words until there's no more energy to go out and get your shit done. So I will become really hush hush when I'm doing a thing. So we got a really exciting project coming up that I'll be announcing hopefully in a week or two. Uh, doing some doing some behind the scenes work on that particular project, and it'll be something else. I'll tell you. All right. I'm Uncle Birch. Let's see if anybody else said anything there on the way out. Can you tell us about traveling back in time? Okay, well, here's what you do. You get on a plane in New Orleans and fly to L.A. You travel back in time. Okay. All right. I'll talk about something like that another time. I think what I talked about there was that magic can time travel. That often the gears that it took to manifest a spell started spinning before we cast the spell. And sometimes it was necessary to accomplish that goal for those gears to have started. Hey, careful, don't let the cat out.
Mama needs you.
Okay, I'm coming. All right, we're gonna meet again.